Hello, and thank you so much for joining me today. Today we will be beginning the book of Bamidbar, Chumash Bamidbar. Interestingly, Chumash Bamidbar in English is called Numbers, and that is because there's a lot of counting of the Jews throughout the book. And in Hebrew, it's called Bamidbar, which means in the desert. And that's because the book is almost exclusively to describing the days that Bnei Israel traveled through the desert for 40 years. And it really speaks about what happened in the desert. So the Hebrew name is Bamidbar in the desert. The English name is Numbers. Both are related to things that happen in the book of Bamidbar. We're going to go through the Parashat Bamidbar and Naso, the main parts, the parts mostly that are outlined for schools in the JSAT curriculum, and go through the main psukim, but obviously the parshas are a bit bigger than what we'll be covering here. In fact, Parashat Naso is the longest parsha in the Torah. So let's dive right into it. I'm going to share on my screen the psukim from Sefaria.com, a great site that really has everything there. So here it is. Here is Sefaria. And here we go. So this is Parak Aleph, Pasuk Aleph in Chumash Bamidbar. So the Pasuk says, Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe b'midbar Sinai be'ohel moed. Hashem speaks to Moshe in the desert of Sinai in Ohel Moed, in the tent of meeting, in the Mishkan. That's where Moshe would go and speak to Hashem. Be'echad lachodesh hasheni, in the first of the second month. Now we know that when do the months begin? So in the Torah, the months actually begin on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, in the month of Nisan. Even though Rosh Hashanah is in the month of Tishrei, and that's when we start the new year, in the sense that we believe that that's when everything that happens during the year is determined. Nonetheless, in the Torah, the beginning of the year is Nisan, Rosh Chodashim is Nisan. And so when it says the Chodesh Hasheni, the second month, it's actually talking about the month of Iyar. So this took place in the first of the second month, the month of Iyar, Bashana Hashenit Letzitam Me'eretz Mitzrayim, on the second year after leaving Mitzrayim. Remember, the first year is when you have everything in Chumash Shmot, from Kriyat Yam Suf to getting the Torah, Chet HaEgel, and starting to build the Mishkan and putting the Mishkan up. So now we're past all that, and now we begin with life in the desert in the Rosh Chodesh Iyar, on the second year in the desert. Lemor. So Hashem says to Moshe, once everything's settled in, there are encampments, they're in their different tents, and they also surround the Mishkan. We're going to see some exactly how, but really things are settling down for the Jewish people. So Hashem tells Moshe, Se'u et rosh kol adat b'nei Yisrael u'mishpachotam lebeit avotam. Count the Jewish people. The word lisa, se'u, usually means to carry. In this case, it means to count. Se'u et rosh kol adat b'nei Yisrael, count the numbers, count the people of Bnei Yisrael, le'mishpachotam, each according to their family, lebeit avotam, on their father's side. B'mispar shemot, you count kol zachar legulgolotam, every male, and we're going to see in a second why, was counted. So this counting was actually only people who were in military age and fit to fight. Remember, the Jews are preparing to go into Eretz Yisrael, and they are preparing for that opportunity. And so, besides for the spiritual reasons of this counting, there's also the idea of knowing how many military-age people there are. Pasuk Gimel, Miben esrim shana v'mala kol yotzei tzava b'Yisrael, from the age of 20 and up, anyone who can go and join the army. Tifkedu otam, you should count them. Letzivotam ata ve'aharon, you should count them, you and Aharon, for their so they can join the army. Ve'itchem yu ish lamateh, with you there will be one person per tribe. Ish rosh lebeit avotavhu, every person who's each from their own family. Now it speaks about the Nisi'im. So it goes through every single Shevet, every single tribe, who's the head of it. So, for example, L'Reuven, Elitzur ben Shdeor, in the tribe of Reuven, Elitzur ben Shdeor was the head of the tribe. L'Shimon, Shlomiel ben Surishadai, L'Yehuda, Nachshon ben Aminadav. This is the same Nachshon that jumps into the water into Yam Suf when everyone's afraid to. L'Yisachar, Netanel ben Suar, L'Zvulun, Eliav ben Chilon, Livnei Yosef, Ephraim. Remember, Yosef gets two tribes, so it's one that is from Ephraim and one is from Yosef. I'm sorry, one's Ephraim and one's Menashe. Livnei Yosef, LeEphraim, Elishama ben Amihud, L'Menashe, Gamliel ben Pedatzor, LeBinyamin, Avidan ben Gidoni, etc. It goes through every Shevet, L'Dan, Achiezer ben Amishadai, LaAsher, Pagiel ben Okran. It goes through every single Nasi. Elam, Korea, Edan, Nasiei, Matot Avotam, Rashi, Alfei Yisrael, Ema. These are the Nasim of each tribe. Moshe took the Nasi'im, and that Kol Ha'edah Hikil Be'echad L'Chodesh Hasheni, gathers the entire congregation, all of the people. They all basically count themselves, each according to their family. Each according to their name and their family. Remember, this is really important. A nation of slaves who leaves Egypt without any sense of freedom, meaning they had it once they left, but really when they were slaves in Egypt, you don't have much of a sense of freedom, of family, of community, of belonging. And so to be counted and to be part of a family was something very meaningful. Hashem commanded Moshe to count them. And now it's going to go through, we're not going to do all the numbers, but it's going to go through the numbers of each and every tribe, how many they had in each and every tribe. So for example, the number of people from the tribe of Reuven, every army-aged male above the age of 20, and then it goes, for example, now it's very important to note when learning this that the numbers in Hebrew in Tanakh are often switched around. So for example, instead of saying 64,000, instead of saying 46,000, you say Shisha ve'arba'im elef. So you don't say arba'im v'shesh elef. You would say Shisha ve'arba'im elef v'chameshmot. So it's a bit confusing here. You can see the number here. It's 46,500. But in Hebrew, in Chumash, it's said Shisha. I don't know exactly why, but that's the way it used to be then. Then it goes on Shimon. It tells you exactly how many were in Shimon. Gad, see the numbers are here. Shimon 59,300. Gad 45,650. Yehuda, Yisachar, Zvulun, Yosef, which is again divided to Ephraim and Menashe. You have here Ephraim, and then you have Menashe, and then you have Binyamin, Binyamin, etc. It goes through everyone from the tribe of Binyamin, and again goes through the number 35,400, and it continues the Bnei Dan. It goes through the number of Bnei Dan. Sometimes it can be hard to read through with all the numbers. I know I'm not fantastic with math, so sometimes it's hard to just go through all the numbers. But here, Bnei Asher, here you go, Bnei Naphtali, Naftali, and etc. It goes on. Now, very important, and this is a requirement to know, is the total number. What is the total number of the Shvatim in the military-aged men in the desert? Vayu kol hapkudim 600,000 ו3,000, 600,000 and 3,000, ו550, and 550. So you have 600 and 3,550. Very, very important. Usually, people refer to this as like in general terms. So for example, they'll say it is a total, there were 600,000 Jews in the desert, but actually the number here is 603,550. So it's not exactly 600,000, but that's what we round it down to. Now, another very important detail also must know is this number does not include the number of the Leviim. Why? Why not count the Leviim? The reason is because the Leviim do not go out to wars. Their job is to carry the Mishkan. They will be counted separately. And we'll see later the Levim are not counted from age 20 and up. They're counted from a much younger age, from a month, from when they're babies. That's when the Levim are counted. So the Levim are actually not part of the counting, so which makes the number even more sort of estimate, because or not an exact number, because when we say 603,550, that does not include the Levim, people under 20, etc. So it's a different counting. So here you go. Here's the counting of the Levim. Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe le'emar. Hashem spoke to Moshe. Achet matei Levi lo titkod ve'et rosham lo tisa betoch bnei Yisrael. Do not count the Levim within bnei Yisrael. And the Levim have a very, very different and special job. The Levim are actually in charge of the Mishkan and everything that's in it. They carry the Mishkan and everything that's in it. And they service the Mishkan and gather around it. And not only that, remember, the Mishkan is a sort of like Lego. You can assemble and disassemble it fairly easily. Well, not easily for one person, but easily for all of the Levim. They had to do it together. So when the Mishkan traveled, the Levim bring it down, and when the Mishkan would settle down, the Levim would assemble it. So they were in charge of every time the Jews would camp, they would build it, and every time the Jews would start traveling, the Levim would actually disassemble it and pack it up. Now here's something very important. Let me just show you a quick picture of how it may have looked. So here is the camp of Bnei Israel. You have 12 tribes, because remember, even though the Levim are in the middle, which would make everyone around them 11, nonetheless, Yosef is split into two. So since Yosef is split into two, you have an added Shevet, and they were part of 4 camps. You have Mizrach, Ma'arav, Tzafon, Darom, north, south, east, west, and you have in the middle the 3 families of the Levim, Gershon, Kehat, and Merari. You see 3 separate families. And in the middle, you have the Mishkan. Each one of the directions of the conglomerate of 3 tribes had a flag of its own. Each tribe had a flag of its own, so you knew you were part of that tribe. And we're going to see the Torah is very specific about which tribe was on what side. So these are the Bnei Yisrael camped around the Mishkan, and the Levim in the middle. And there were basically 3 camps. There was Machane Shechina, the part where the divine presence of Hashem was, the Mishkan. There was Machane Levim there in the middle. And Machane Yisrael was the 12 tribes around it, we're going to see in a minute. So, B'chanu B'nei Yisrael ish al machaneu v'ish al diglot tzivotam. B'nei Yisrael will camp themselves, every person in their camp, and each next to their flag. The Levim yachanu saviv lamishkan ha'edut v'lo yeh ketzef al adat B'nei Yisrael. The Levim will camp around the Mishkan, v'lo yeh ketzef, and Hashem will not be angered or be upset at B'nei Yisrael. V'shamru Levim and Meret Mishkan ha'edut. The Levim will keep be the guardians of the Mishkan. Vayasu B'nei Yisrael kechol asher tzivah Hashem et Moshe kenasu. So B'nei Yisrael did what Hashem told Moshe. That is what they did, and that is the end of Parak Aleph. Now Parak Bet. Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe ve'el Aaron lemo. Hashem spoke to Moshe and Aharon, saying, Ish al diglo be'otot leveit avotam yachanu B'nei Yisrael mineged saviv le'oel moed yachanu. B'nei Yisrael should camp according to their flag, be'otot leveit avotam. Each one again had, you see here in the picture, each one had a flag, and you camped around together with your tribe. The tribe you would follow is leveit avotam, usually following your father's tribe. And yeah, so that's how they would camp. And now the Torah says exactly who was where. Achonim Kedma, the people that were in the east, Degel Machane Yehuda Letzivotam. In the east, you had a Yehuda. Yehuda would be in the middle, and on his side, you would have V'nasi l'bnei Yehuda Nachshon ben Aminadav. The Nasi, the head of Bnei Yehuda, is Nachshon ben Aminadav. And then we go and we count how large Yehuda was. We said before, 74,600. V'achonima Matei Yisachar, who camped together with Yehuda, meaning on his side. So Yehuda's in the middle, and then you have two tribes there on the side. The people who are next to him are the tribe of Yisachar, the head of Yisachar. And here you have the number of Yisachar, and then who else was with him? You had Zvulun, and you say who the Nasi of Zvulun was, Eliav ben Chelon, how many people were in Zvulun, and then we come to the counting. We count how much was the total. If you add Yehuda in the middle, Yisachar and Zvulun facing east, what is the grand total of that entire side, meaning that those three tribes combined? And the answer is 186,400. Yehuda's camp goes first, and they are in the east. Next, you have Degel Machane Reuven, Timana, Yehuda. I'm sorry, the camp of Reuven is to the south, and the head of it is Reuven, and we say who the Nasi of Reuven, we say the number, we say who was with him, Shimon was with him, and we say the number of Shimon, and then Gad was with him, and we say the total. The total was 151,450. So we count that entire camp. Now, where is Ohel Moed? Ohel Moed is in the middle. It's sort of right there, as you saw in the picture. Right there in the middle is Ohel Moed, the tent of meeting where Hashem spoke to Bnei Yisrael. So that is the next one. Then after that, Pasuk Yudchet, you have Degel Machane Ephraim L'tzivotam Yama. The camp of Ephraim was on the west. By the way, fun fact is that Yam we know is ocean, a sea. Where's the sea of Eretz Yisrael? Well, it is the Mediterranean, which is on the west. So that's why the word for west is Yama, because in Israel, if you go west, you'll get to the beach. Here we say Nasi Livnei Ephraim, the head of Ephraim, Elishama ben Amiyud, and his army, and the people with him are Menashe, the number, and Binyamin. And we say the total of the camp, 108,100. And last but not least is Degel Machane. You have Dan is on the north. And again, we say who the head of Dan is, and how many people are in his tribe, and that Asher is with him, and Naphtali is with him, and what the total is. And then we go through, again, that's the total. Now Bnei Israel are settled in, and everyone camps in their proper place. Vayasu Bnei Israel kechol asher tziva Hashem et Moshe, ken chanu ledigleihem v'chen nasau ish lemishpachotav al beit avotav. Every person camped according to their place. Now we go on to the counting in Parak Gimel, and it can sometimes be confusing, and with a lot of numbers and places and directions. So I appreciate you, carrying on your attention. And again, it's sometimes hard to follow. I remember when I was a kid, this was one of the hardest parshas to follow. So we say, Ve'ele toldot Aaron and Moshe b'yom diber Hashem et Moshe bar Sinai. Here are the children of Aaron. Now, there's a very famous Rashi here that says these are the children of Aaron and Moshe. Then if you take a look at Pasuk Bet, you'll see something very strange. Ve'ele shmot b'nei Aaron. These are the sons of Aaron. Habechor Nadav v'Avihu. The older ones are Nadav and Avihu, and Elazar and Itamar. Now, it doesn't go on to count the children of Moshe. So why does it say these are the children of Aaron and Moshe and then only list the children of Aaron? So Rashi famously says that since the children of Aaron studied Torah from Moshe, Moshe is considered partially their father, because when someone teaches someone else Torah, someone else's child Torah, it's like they are in some way helped in raising them. And that's why it says Ele Toldot Aaron u'Moshe, even though it's only counting the children of Aaron. So it goes on, Ele Shmot B'nei Aaron, HaKohanim HaMishuchim. The children of Aaron are the ones who are Kohanim. And then we remember the very sad story that's mentioned in Parashat Shmini. Bayamat Nadav v'Avihu lifnei Hashem ba'akrivam esh zara lifnei Hashem. Sadly, very, very sadly, Nadav and Avihu died when they were bringing a fire that was strange, not permitted. Remember, they went in with the machtal, with the ketoret, and they brought a korban that they were not asked to. So Nadav and Avihu died, and they had no children. So Elazar and Itamar were Kohanim while Aaron was the Kohen. Next, pasuk Hey, Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe Lamor, Hakrevet Mateh Levi ve'amadta oto lifnei Aaron HaKohen v'shirtu oto. Bring the tribe of Levi and stand in front of Aaron, and the tribe of Levi is going to help. What job do the tribe of Levi have? They are not Kohanim. So what do? So pasuk Zayin says, V'shamru es mishmarto. They guard the Mishkan ve'mishmeret kol ha'eda lifnei Ohel Moed la'avod et avodat hamishkan. They guard the Mishkan. They guard the Mishkan's vessels. V'shamru kol klei Ohel Moed v'mishmeret bnei Yisrael la'avod et avodat hamishkan. They guarded the vessels. Also v'natata et haLevim Aaron v'banav netunim hem alom et bnei Yisrael. And they help Aaron. That Aaron v'banav tifkod v'shamru et kohanetam. Aaron and his children will look after the Beit HaMikdash. V'azar karev yumat. If someone tries to work in the Mishkan when they're not allowed to, Hashem will punish them with death. Now here comes a very interesting concept, very important. I'm just going to remind you of something you're obviously very familiar with already. In the 10th plague, Makat Bechorot, Hashem spared Bnei Yisrael. Even though the angel of death was going around killing every firstborn in Egypt, Hashem protected Bnei Yisrael. So Hashem told the Bechorim, the firstborn, he said, hey, listen, you owe me one, and you are going to serve in the Mishkan. Unfortunately, the Bechorim, the firstborn, sinned in the Chet HaEgel, in the sin of the golden calf, and were disqualified from working in the Mishkan. So Hashem said, listen, instead of the Bechorim, instead of the firstborn serving in the Mishkan and being the Kohanim and Leviim, we are going to have the Kohanim and Leviim serving the Mishkan. So the original plan was for the Bechorim, the firstborn, to serve as Kohanim and Leviim, as priests who served in the Mishkan and Kiryat, but they were disqualified by working in the Egel. And there's this exchange process where instead of having the Kohanim and the Bechorim, instead of having the firstborn, the Bechorim, we have the Kohanim Levim. And that's exactly what this pasuk says. Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe lemor, v'ani hinei lakachti et haLevim mitoch bnei Yisrael, tachat kol bechor peter rechem bnei Yisrael v'ayu haLevim. I will take the Levim to me. Ki li kol bechor beyom hakoti kol bechor be'eretz Mitzrayim mikdash li kol bechor bnei Yisrael me'adam ad behema liyu. The Kohanim are going to be instead. The Kohanim Levim are instead of the Bechorim, the firstborn. And this is when the Bnei Levi are counted separately to see how many, just like Bnei Israel were counted to see how many can serve in the army, Bnei Levi are counted to see how many can serve in the Mishkan, how many are going to be part of Hashem's force in the Mishkan. The Levim are counted from age 1 month and up. Moshe counts them, and there are 3 main families. There's Gershon, Kehat, and Merari. Those are the 3 families you see camped around here. And again, it's going to go through the numbers, where they camped, who camped exactly where, and who the head of every of those 3 families is, what they carried from the Mishkan. That's all there. Now, pasuk Memdalad, Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe lemor, kach et haLevim tachat kol bechor b'bnei Yisrael, v'et behemat haLevim tachat behemtam. Take the Levim instead of the Bechorim of Bnei Yisrael, and the animal of the Levim will be instead. Also, we're going to see soon the mitzvah of now, they calculated, believe it or not, the number of Bechorim and Levim was almost identical, so you can do a perfect swap. However, there were 273 extras, meaning there were 273 Yisraelim that were above the number of Levim, meaning the number, if you took the 2 numbers of Levim and Kohanim and the number of Bechorim firstborn, you would see the number of Bechorim firstborn be a bit higher by 273. what do those 273 that are not being, so to speak, swapped by Levim do? So it says that they have to give 5 silver coins, 5 silver coins, 5 shkalim per person. They have to give it to Aharon and their children, sort of as an exchange, as in a way for them not serving in the Mishkan. And so they gave that money to the Levim. Again, there's going to be a counting of Gershon, Kat, and Merari. They're told who exactly does what, who carries the covers of the Mishkan, who carries the actual Mishkan, who carries. If you want to read through it, it's a pretty straightforward read. It tells exactly what they do. It also says how they cover the vessels of the Mishkan while traveling. They would put a cover, beautiful cover, on each of the vessels, and they would also make sure that they, didn't come close to the Mishkan when they're not supposed. You're a Levi, you're only supposed to carry the Mishkan. You're not supposed to go into the Mishkan. That has been Parashat Bamidbar. I will do Parashat Naso in a video that's separate than this, so just follow up for Parashat Naso. But that is the entirety of Parashat Bamidbar. And I thank you so much for listening. I hope you join me for even more exciting Parashat Naso. And really, I hope you enjoy the learning. If you have any questions or comments,